Travis here again with Lucky Tackle Box. In the heat of summer, fish, just like humans, head for the shade. So today, I'm gonna break down Bass Kandi Lures T-Craw, which we include in this month's box, to target those fish that are hunkered down near structure, trying to avoid the sun. So let's start with the setup. I'm gonna use the T-Craw as a trailer behind a 1/2 ounce flipping jig. You can also Texas rig this bait by itself on a 1/4 ounce to 3/8 ounce bullet weight. So I start off with a high-speed reel like this Daiwa Tatula 7.3 to 1 gear ratio, and then I spool up with either 15 to 20 pound fluorocarbon, depending on the structure I'm around, or what I'm using right now is a 50-pound braid. The reason being is I'm in a real stained water. Oh, there we go. Oh, was exactly what I was looking for. And that's why you need some braided line. I got this 50-pound braid because that fish was around a branch. When I set the hook, that fish was already underneath the branch, and I had to pull that fish back around the limb, and we were able to get it in the boat because we had the right line on. Lastly, I pair this on my 6'8" Castaway worm jig rod. I've got a nice stout backbone to really be able to get that good hook set with that big hook, but I've got a soft tip so I can really feel that bait on the fall, and also I can really work that bait up on those 2 little hops to see if I actually get bit. So retrieval is easy. I'm just pendulum this bait. So I'm flipping the bait out to my little targets, which are obviously shade pockets. And what I want to do is I want that bait to land as quiet as possible. So when I pendulum that bait out, I want to keep it as it's sliding out there, I want to keep it as close to the water as possible. So that way when I get it to where I want it to land, all I do is slow it down and it gently lands into the water and doesn't startle any fish that are underneath. Now, once that bait lands in the water, I want to give the line semi-slack line, okay? Because what I want to do is I want that bait to fall straight down. If you have tight line, what'll happen is that bait will end up penduluming back towards you away from your target. There we go. Oh, yeah. Yes, yes. So as this bait's falling down, those little legs on the T-Craw are kicking, causing some nice little vibrations and stuff those fish pick up on, and that's what's gonna generate your strikes. Nice, nice. It is, I mean, it's a real quick motion when you're fishing these things. You're just pitching, you're looking for them to hit it on the fall, so you're watching that slack line, and as that bait's falling, you're waiting for that little tick. Because when a fish goes to eat a crawdad, it pulls it all the way to the back of its throat where its crushers are, so that crawdad can't pinch them or do any damage to them. And that's what you're seeing when that line hops. That's because that fish just took it to the back of the throat. If it doesn't bite it on the fall, I give it a 1 or 2 hops, and the reason being is sometimes that bait will fall by that fish, and the bass will swim up to it and nose up on it, and if that bait does that little hop, that'll trigger that bite. But if it doesn't bite it then, I keep moving on because this is a numbers game. I want to cover as many little spots as I can because I know these fish are going to be in the shade near structure, so it's all about getting as many flips as I can in until I finally run into a fish that's ready to eat. Location. All right, so that brings us to probably the most important part of flipping is because you're making precise casts and not spending much time, you want to make sure that your casts are in the right areas and in the most productive areas. So what happens is when that sun is up and we have these really warm days and the lakes are really heating up, these fish have 2 options. They either move deep to cooler water or they go find shade from any type of structure. So whether it is dock pilings, trees, you know, seawalls, any kind of shade, even weed clumps, they're gonna have some kind of shade and those fish are gonna position themselves accordingly. So it's always important to take note of the position of the sun, because whichever side the sun is on, that opposite side of the structure is going to be where the most shade is being cast, and that's where those fish are going to be positioned. It's absolutely got to be in your arsenal to be flipping during summertime. When you have a bait like the T-Craw by Bass Kandi Lures, you have the right bait, now you know the right locations, you're looking for those shady areas, and you're looking to really cover a lot of water and not spend too much time on the cast, and you're eventually going to run into some good bass, some exciting action. Once again, guys, I'm Travis Moran with Lucky Tackle Box. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel.